Hey, Superbug. Hello, everybody. I see that you're having fun in chat, huh? Well, good that you had fun. Now I'm back. No more fun. Now it's just boring, slow coding. That's it. Nothing else. What is this? Where's my snapping stuff? Why is my bleh, why is this window not snapping as it should? macOS, you have one job. Oh, now it is snapping. Okay. Okay. So, what am I working on? I'm working on URL collision detection. No, I did not blur it yet. Although I just posted it. I posted it just now in Discord. Let me pull it up. There we go. It's this specific branch. Also, give me a sec. Sorry. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Minor crisis in the house, but it's solved. Okay, so what are we doing today? I'm still working on the standalone Zing executable. I'm basically implementing like the actual build process entirely myself, because previously I didn't have to, because the Zig build system would do that for me. So now it's I have to walk on my own legs now. And the latest and greatest stuff that I added is it's this, which is URL collision detection. The idea being you have assets. So when you have a markdown file, it will have like a natural output location, which is going to be the same path where the markdown file is under the content directory. And so you don't have collisions for those. You can't, because one file on this will become one file in the output directory, but they can also specify things like aliases. Like, so a file can also specify basically copies of itself that will be put elsewhere. There's also alternatives. So a file will have one natural output location, but then it can also specify other ones, and these other ones are specified by the user in the front matter, and so the user could, by mistake, have two things collide, and we want to detect that. In reality, it's more complicated than this, because we also want to make sure that we don't collide with static assets. So I'm not dealing with assets yet, so I'm not going to do that for now. I'm just going to worry about other types of collisions. Maybe the music, I'm going to lower the music a little bit more. Okay. So I'm worrying for now only about collisions generated by content. And it turns out that actually detecting if URLs collide is a more complex algorithm than, well, or process than what it might seem at first sight. Like at first sight, you might think, yeah, you know what, two different things, you compute where they're supposed to be output, and then you check the two paths, and if the paths are equal, then it's a collision. So you can use a hash map for that. Yes, but that only solves a subset of the problem. There's also other kinds of collisions. I'm purposely not gonna explain what they are in chat. If anybody is interested, try to think about it. Like, in which other ways could URL paths collide and be a problem other than being exactly the same? Case insensitivity. Yeah, this stuff is complicated. So here's the problem. I believe that URLs in general are not considered case insensitive. So I'm not sure how that would relate with what I'm doing on the file system. Meaning if two different things have different casing, then I don't know, maybe the file system doesn't allow you to do that because it's fully case insensitive. So too bad. That's a problem with your OS. That doesn't concern me. But if your OS, if your file system keeps around case information, then two different cases can become two different URLs. So that part is fine. I guess you could argue, well, what if I want my URLs to be case insensitive? Like I want some like switch that says, let's assume that everything should be lowercase, or like normalize everything to be lowercase, in which case then, yes, there would be maybe considerations to make with regards to case sensitivity. But in general, since URLs are not case insensitive, they are case sensitive. So that doesn't seem a problem to me, unless I'm missing something. So if you have like a more concrete example where that could be a problem, I'm all ears. The Unicode normalization, yeah, that's definitely a more juicy topic, that's for sure. At the same time, I think that people normally want to have simple ASCII URLs. They don't want to make them too complicated. Starting from the fact that, like, if I remember correctly, like domains don't really support weird stuff. There's like what's it called, Punicode. Like there's a way of encoding like emojis in domain names, but it's all jank. Nobody wants to use that stuff. And I have never seen, I mean, I'm sure that you can do it if you want, but I normally don't see like links that have non-standard characters in the path. So it's a use case that I would be interested in supporting if there is a need for it. But I think so far it doesn't seem to be something like big and important, I think. Short links are another problem. in this context, we're talking about a static site generator. So it will go by default on a static hosting. Well, it doesn't have to, but basically the problem is symlinks. Symlinks can be a problem, yes. No, but the problem is it's more, let me put it this way, okay? I give you, let's forget for a moment about stuff on disk. So just think of me giving you a bunch of URLs like this one. So I give you a bunch of URLs, URL paths. So there's never going to be any domain name. So it's just relative paths, but like they're all URLs, okay? Not paths on disk, they're URLs. And I give you those. So let me delete this. I give you a bunch of those. So you have a bunch of those. They're all different. The only thing you know is that every path that they give you always ends in a file. It never ends in a directory. So you know that the last component is always a file. But there might be collisions. So, maybe can they be relative to different CWDs? No. They're all relative to the same CWD. So maybe this is going to be like this. So for example, if I give you this, then these two are colliding. This one is fine. Rules are same base there, let's say. Or rather, all relative to the same base there. Can I have parameters? No. Last component is file. Always a file. 3, no query hash. It took me a moment also to realize this myself, what the problem is. And it makes this whole thing like annoying as fuck. I'm going to wait a little bit more and then I'm going to give the solution. Oh, there's also this one. That's just good. Yeah. Let's also say for no dot dot. No and no dot. No dot dot, not though. No dot. I'm assuming the last component is a file means that there doesn't imply their index. Correct. Yes, there's no like implication. Or rather, in reality, in my case, I start from this, but then I can always easily normalize to their /index. So it's not a problem. The point is you don't have this ambiguity. Like there's no ambiguity for you because there's no ambiguity for me. I always know that the last thing is always a file. And in my case, when I receive a path that doesn't end with a file, I know that that's the case. So it doesn't matter. Like with what I'm presenting you, you know that it always ends with a file. Last component is always a file, and it's not implied. It's always there for you. So I guess, okay, let me put it then this way. So can it contain escape sequences? No. No anchors. Yeah, and that's the hash stuff. Yeah, no anchors. 5. What was I saying? Oh, well, no, 5. Just saying. Well, so the question is then, in which case would a hash map not be enough to detect collisions? And again, like let's say that you give me, well, I'm simplifying this. Actually, that's actually the case in my case. There's no query, there's no hash. Like even if you gave them, like I could strip them. It doesn't matter. They don't make them different URLs. Can you explain what a collision means here? Yes. Basically, let's imagine that you have, and again, this is a slight simplification over my use case, but to make the whole explanation more self-contained, let's say that you have you have generated somewhere output .html, right? You have it generated, and now you need to install it in different locations. So I generated this guy. I need to install it into these paths that I'm like, this is the output path. So I control it. It's empty and I control all of it because this is the output path where that will have to go. The directory that will need to be copy pasted into the static web server. And obviously, if well, you know what? Sorry, this is a bad idea. It's a bad example. Let's say that I have a bunch of these files. I have a bunch of them generated in the build system. So let's say that inside $zig cache, somewhere in the Zig cache, I have output. I have a bunch of output HTML. Like I have a bunch of those, and I need to install. They're all different. That's I guess a key aspect of this, right? I have a bunch of assets. They're all different, and they all want to be installed at a given location. But you see that in this combination here, for example, this is a problem because this guy, which is different than this guy, let's call them output 1, output 2, output 3 at this point. These guys, these two guys, they want to be put in the same location, and that's a collision because you can't have both, right? You can only have one of them. I probably took a very roundabout way of explaining what is a collision, but the idea is these are files that need to be installed. They can declare where they want to be installed, and by mistake, two different files could want to be put in the same location. That's a collision. So we want to detect that situation because it can happen. There are things that the user can configure where occasionally a collision could happen. What if the file name of one is the directory of another? That's the problem, yes. And yeah, that's the entirety of the problem. So if you have, as long as you think of files as always having an extension and directories as never having a dot in them, then you're kind of good. But if you're freaking directories, if this turns out to be like this, now it's a problem. That's the core of it. Alternatively, could also be this. Extensionless files that collide with a directory name. And it's annoying because a hash map, it's not going to be as good anymore once you have to factor in this problem. And I don't know, so far the best that I can think of is make a tree. So represent paths as trees. You make a tree that collects all paths, and for every node you have a flag that tells you if a file is in there, meaning that if a file is in there, then the entire subtree is collisions. I'm guessing that if you don't have to maintain this, fun fact, Git branch names have the same problem. Historically, refs were implemented as files in directories, so you can't have two branches called A and A/B at once. Really? That is interesting. Put folders in cache. What? So, long story short, you might be wondering, wait, then how are you solving this problem? Are you actually building a tree? No, the reality is that I'm not building a tree. So I wrote some notes here, and what I'm doing for now is I'm gonna do the hash map strat and just detect straight up collisions. I'm leaving asserts. So I have a bunch of asserts that trip if I like you have an extensionless path, I'm gonna trip an assert. I'm also gonna add an assert for directory names with dots in them. And so the idea is I'm gonna leave basically those landmines in there in case that ever becomes a problem. At least the fact doesn't go undetected completely. And yeah, and then I think that once I make more progress, what I probably want to do, Zine isn't a server, right? Yeah, no, the Zine is a server, yes. So there's no consideration for meme types. Um, Zine is a server, or rather, it's not a production server, but it is a development server. I don't know if that distinction has any impact on what you're getting at in your question. But you want to run Zine serve so that you have a local server running that keeps rebuilding and also serves the website locally so that you can access it locally. And of course, it's a static site, so technically you could open the static files, but there's also a bunch of stuff that doesn't work if you're opening local files. I wonder if there's actually a rule for files having extensions, if maybe the extension determines the mean type or something. Yeah, that is a good point. Yes. Normally, you don't want to have extension length files in a static web server. Totally agree. But occasionally you might. I think there are some examples of this. I might be wrong, but I think, for example, what do people put under... Actually, you know what? I'm not wrong. I know for a fact that I'm right. Let me show you, for example... well, let me show you the repo for this website. So... So, for example, the repo for this website, under assets, I have this file called cname. That's a file that needs to be put in the root directory of your static site because GitHub uses it to know that you have a custom domain. There's also a bunch of other similar mechanisms. There's also stuff that goes in known folders. What is it called? Known folder? Wait, known folders is the Zig project. There's also known folder, I believe. Oh, well known, right? Well known, yes. Okay, I was getting there. Well known. What's in there? Why this website is worse than fucking AI, man? This one is another worse than AI. You know what? At this point, if that's how it has to be, I'm gonna go straight to the source. Full list of files that go under. No. Acme Challenge, Apple App Site Association, Asset Links. So there's a bunch of those. Okay, you know what? Maybe this thing is like hallucinating some of these names, but I think it's fair to say that there can be extensionless files. It's reasonable to want extensionless files in your website. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a reasonable request, but the cname file isn't served by the server, correct? It has to be a file. So that part doesn't matter because that has to be a file that you install in your output directory. For example, if you look at zine ssg.io, you can see that in my build.zig file, I install cmake in the output directory. I'm not sure any of the well-known extensionless files need to be static files, though. Well, I mean, if you're generating a static website and you want to put something in your well-known thing, like, okay, you know what? I'm going to pick one. I want to verify my static website against an Acme challenge. Then I will want to make a build where I install an Acme challenge file in there. Now you could argue, well, maybe you do that, but not through the builds, not through your static site generator. You put it somewhere else in your pipeline. I guess you could do that, but I think it's a generally acceptable use case. There's also more concretely, the very concrete GitHub problem. Like you want to install CNAME on GitHub. If you don't install CNAME, your stuff breaks. Like if you don't install this file, if this file is not present in the GitHub branches page, if it's not here, like if you delete this file or like you make a comment that doesn't have this file, your website stops having support for your custom domain. It literally breaks. So this file has to be there. And people are asking, does it get served? Let's see. Answer, yes, it does get served. So if you ever wonder, is this website hosted on GitHub pages? That might be a way of detecting that. Well, I mean, probably you can also detect that by looking at the IP that's serving the website. But I guess if you want a quick and dirty way of doing that, you just do /name. For example, let's see. Let me think of a website that it's not owned by me. mattnight.net. Right? Okay. Is this GitHub Pages website? The answer apparently is yes, but also CNAME is somewhere else. I guess he's not using a different branch. He's probably using... What the heck is he using? Okay, now I'm confused. Blog? Bloggerino. Okay. He has CNAME in here. Did I typo it somehow? Did I write CMake by mistake? No. I did write CNAME. Okay. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, wait. He has that in main, though. What is he deploying? He is deploying from main. I guess these are like GitHub mysteries. We'll never know, I guess. Also, wait, maybe this is not... Matt Knight, low-level programmer. I work with C++ in my day job. Maybe... did I close this tab? Yeah, I close it. Okay. God damn it. It's a different repository. We're looking at the wrong repository. This one says other stuff. Website. My last website. Okay. Let's see. My last website. Where is Z deploying to? Path Zig out. GitHub pages. I'm confused by how this works. Oh, view all branches. He has no other branch. I guess we'll never know how it works. In any case, okay, enough with this. So it's reasonable to assume that people want to have those type of files. Yeah, but I was looking at other branches. He has no other branch in there. So I don't know what's going on. He has a different setup. So long story short, here's what I wrote down. Maybe one thing that we can do in the future is start with probably we should measure how bad it is to build a tree versus using a hash map. Honestly, I have an intuition that it's more expensive to make a tree than to stuff things in a hash map. But exactly how much one is worse than the other, not sure. So I guess the idea could be that if the tree is much worse than the hash map, what you could do is start always with the hash map and then switch downgrade to the tree if you see a extensionless file or a directory with a dot in it. Hey, Toggle. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for the raid. We're talking about website and URL collisions. Hello, hello. Hello, raiders. Hello, everybody. Okay, I'll do a quick recap for the people who have just joined. So we have been chit-chatting about URL collisions. So here's what I'm working on with Zine right now. So Zine is my static site generator. I'm trying to make it fast. I'm trying to make it a self-contained executable. Currently, it requires you to have Zig installed, but I want to move away from that. So I need to implement entirely by myself. Bye, Toggle. Have a nice lunch. So I need to implement everything by myself. And currently, I'm working on collision detection, where the idea is that you could have different files, different assets in your static website that want to be output to the same location. How do you detect that at build time and inform the user and make it a build error basically for the user? So you might think that to detect that, you compute where each thing wants to go. You put every path in a hash map, and then that way you detect collisions, because if two things want to be output to the same, path and also same file name, then they can't. And that would be correct, but it's incomplete. Because there's also other cases where two different URLs could collide, and it's not a matter of normalization. It's not a matter of ... It's not a matter of even if the paths are rooted in the same base directory, they don't have any ... any dot, so they don't have any relative thing, weird relative thing in them. They don't have other things missing or present / at the end. They are perfectly normalized. Even then, a hash map used naively, where you just stuff a full path in it, is not enough, because there's cases where two different URLs, paths, could collide even though they're different. This is starting to sound like an Advent of Code puzzle. Yeah, pretty much. Except that in this case, it's actually meaningful. Maybe you have one hash map for files and one for folders, and checking both for collisions can be enough. Unfortunately, not really, because, for example, Shaman, Shkaman. Let's say that you have foo / bar / baz / bucks / cooks / I don't know, bqz index.html. Okay. And let's say that you have foo / bar / baz. That is a file. So you can't just check this. You have to check this and every prefix. So now your tests are a function of how deep is your thing. You need a tree. The reality is that if you want to do this work and maintain state, there's also another assumption that I'm making that I maybe not made super clear. Right now I'm implementing a one pass build, where basically you build the website and then the executable closes. But I also need to have incremental with Zine serve. So I do have an interest in having these data structures be updatable also. You can have two absolute or relative paths be both a file and a folder. yes, the problem is that you could have a file name that collides with a folder name. Basically, that's the problem. Yes. In any case, I'm ignoring this problem for now, as I was saying. I'm implementing the more basic strategy, and I'm placing asserts to validate my assumptions. And the moment that the assert pops, then we know that we'll need to do better. Maybe I should also. Oh, can I do this? Check this out. Assert, and then you know what we put inside the assert? We put a for loop inside this assert. Why shouldn't we? Like, why shouldn't I put a for loop inside this assert, right? What was the problem with putting the ancestor dirs into a hash map as special items? I think I missed it. The problem is that now you basically have to test for all prefixes of a path, which you can do. But my general intuition is that that's less preferable than just building a tree at that point. So yes, basically you could do that. One way you could do it is that you put in the hash map all paths, all normal paths that end in a file. And then when you want to add a new path to it, you also test that all prefixes are missing from the hash map. That works. But then you have to test all prefixes. Would that be preferable over the tree? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. To me, it seems a worse approach, but I don't have numbers on hand, so I'm going by gut feeling. We're doing vibe coding here. It's not AI, but it's vibe coding still. Testing the prefixes are missing is the same pass as adding them in. Right? About that. Yes, that's also a problem, isn't it? No, it would have to be, I think it would have to be a second pass. Because if you do it in the same pass, the problem is that then you could collide with something that gets added later, and so you missed it. What a freaking nightmare, huh? What a freaking nightmare. Not if you canonicalize the pass directly. Carryham, I think... And that is not really the problem. The problem is this. The problem is it's not canonicalization. The problem is that you could have foo bar buzz.html, and then you could have foo/bar, and this bar is a file. It's an extensionless file. This causes a collision with this, or alternatively, you could have a directory that happens to be called something.html, and now that collides with bar.html. So the problem is this has nothing to do with canonicalization. The problem is that you could have this collision. You could have a directory and a file collide. That's not legal. That's okay. The point is that these are not files on disk. The point is that a user could specify. Okay, there's another assumption, I guess, that it's not clear. You could have stuff like this. In Zine, you can do in Zine, you could have this. Okay, this is old. This is not Zine. Oh no, I somehow I got myself into old content, but it's the same feature that's also in Zine. You can have a file that specifies an alias, a secondary output location, and this is a path written inside a front matter. It's not a file on disk, but it will have to become a file on disk in the output directory. But as an input, it's not a file on disk. So this could be a source of collision. So there's a few cases where a static site generator could have requests by the user that end up in collisions. So no, you don't have this on disk, but you can have an alias that wants to create this. And so now foo/bar.smd, which will become bar.html, will collide with this weird alias, for example. There's also quite a few examples where this can happen that are not like artificial as this one. That can be like very organic, like reasonable things for the user, mistakes, but reasonable things for a user to attempt. Yes. So yeah, let's put a for loop in my assert. So what are we gonna do it? I guess what I want to do is to test that there's no dot in any component of path. How do we do this? Do we do this the bad way? You know what? I'm not going to do it leveraging my abstractions. I guess I'm just going to do it off the original thing. So I'm going to do index of scalar of a dot. Yeah, no need for a for loop. So let's do index of scalar of dot over sd dot mem dot fs dot path dot what is it? It's not base name. Well, you know what? Pub function. Let's see what we have. Join, join, join. Ooh, FMT join. That's nice. Absolute Z, absolute, absolute, absolute. Disk designator. No. Resolve, resolve windows, resolve POSIX. Their name. Strip the last component from a file path. If the file path is a file in the current directory, non-directory component, then it returns null. Okay, so we do their name basically. So their name. This doesn't work on Windows though. We need their name POSIX. Please be pub. Please be pub. It's pub. Okay. Their name POSIX. And we pass A. And then we do else empty string. Or else empty string. Beautiful. So we're also validating our assumption here. Let's see. You can test for collisions there. You mean when you encounter a failure outputting? To be honest, from a perspective of like pure like avoiding waste of resources, I guess that could be a solution. But yeah, I also think that it's preferable to have all the error reporting happening before you get to installing. So yes, you that at that point you definitely get an error from the system. But I still think it's better to avoid polluting the output thing with a partial install that's broken, basically. Okay, so we make this assumption that there's no dot. We shouldn't validate this assumption also for main. But for main, we don't have the full path. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so for the main page, we're going to need a different strategy. But we can still use this same strategy also for this guy. Okay, so I'll need to fix that one. Although output their name path extension. Yeah, that should be good. Okay. So this part is fine. How do we test this one? This one is more obnoxious. You know what? I'm not gonna put an assert there. It's obnoxious to structure that assert, so I'm gonna skip it for now. Let's get to a compiling state because I don't think we're getting there. What's the problem? Incompatible types, string and com time int. Yeah, 103. Okay. Yeah, this index is also wrong. So what am I doing here? I'm saying if the page is index.md, that's what I'm checking for. So let's do this. Wait, can I do? I need a non-result type, which I don't have. I could do as. I hate doing as. No string. No string table. Wait, what's going on? And it's also not 0. It's 1. Let's put an assert for this assumption. So variant string table get index.smd dot question mark is equal to 1. Okay. Not bad. Next problem. One of 5. Oh, snap. I already had the validation for my thing. Oops. Okay. I'm gonna put it there, I guess. Technically, this doesn't even need to live in here, but I don't use it. What's going on? Oh, there's another one. 1 of 5. Oh, the assert. God damn it. Well, okay. There you go. U32 does not support field access. The section items. Section pages dot items. Yeah, this gives me a page index. Extended type usize found. Context page 113. Why did I assume that I could access page? I don't know what I was smoking when I wrote this stuff. Okay, next problem. 141. Well, at least we're making progress. Off by 1 in line 103. What do you mean? Where do you see it off by 1? Here, this action items stuff. This should be 1. I don't see what you mean. Sorry. So index.smd, index.html. Incompatible types, string table string and path table path. Oh wait, why are those paths? What was I smoking? Let's see. Expected type, string table string, found path table path. Okay, so there's another misuse of API somewhere. Intern extend. Intern extend assumes that we have a slice of components. Oh, instead of having an already intern path. No, the point is that the path is already interned by us. So yeah, about that. So this can be components. This has to be path. All path. And then we need to make components out of it. Yeah. To be honest, this makes the API a little bit more restrictive because it forces me to only use paths that are already in there. It doesn't allow me to add a new path that happens to be split in 2. So accepting here a list of components would make this API definitely more flexible. Honestly, it's not that bad. I'll take it as slightly more flexible API. Okay, next. 188. What was the problem? No field name len in struct array listen managed. Oh, in path table 188. Oh, because it's items. Yeah. Okay, expected type void. We gotta try. Oh no, we gotta try that doesn't get caught. What? What are we? Wait, what's going on? What are we returning that's so weird? Allocator allocation error. This is also another allocation error. Append some capacity. What am I missing? Who else is trying stuff? Stop trying. Wait, maybe the error is coming from somewhere else. No, it's coming from expected type void found type info. What? Do we not have? We totally have. We don't have a catch-all. Yes, function is not marked as fallible. You are correct. But here's what I'm doing. I've been a naughty boy. So here's what I've been doing with my functions. Since I want to have very strict control, like I don't want errors to flow up at random. I want to have a strict control. Like there's like immigration barriers for errors, basically, across function boundaries. So I'm making all my functions infallible, or rather, basically the idea is that they're not allowed to return errors because they are expected to only have the only error that bubbles around to be out of memory. And I have like error deferrers that consume those errors. Let me show you what I mean. I'm gonna copy this. So, okay, so this function here, I'm actually amazed that this has not happened before. You know what? It's probably just because this happened to be the first one, but there's also other places where we use an allocator. So we do try. Oh yeah, you know what? Like this needs to be a try. Okay, so there are other places. I just forgot to put those tries in place. But here's the idea. You know what? I'm gonna type it out manually. So here's the idea. Function can't return an error, but I want to use try still. So how do you solve this? A naive way of solving it is that you have an outer function. So you have you do pub function myFun outer, and in here you make it the function void, and inside you call myFun inner in a sense. This one can return an error, and you catch the error, and you do stuff with the error. Which let's say that for simplicity we make it just a SED process.exit one. Okay, so normally you would put more error reporting. So you can do this. This works, right? And so this allows you to define myFun as a function that returns the can error out. And you can use try in here. In here, you cannot use try normally. So is there a way of being able to use try without needing these extra wrapper function? Well, check it out. On error defer, you capture the error and you map it to a no return function. A no return function is a function that kills the program, kills the process. And now it's not a compiler anymore, because what this does is take out of memory out of the possible set of errors that you could return from this function. It also has a secondary nice effect. This barrier here guarantees that I'm not returning a random error. Like the reason why I added a switch, because you could do error defer whatever, but in here I'm adding a switch that guarantees that if I'm trying to bubble up another kind of error, that becomes a compiler error. And so that means that now there's like an error condition that I'm not handling and reporting in the right location, because this process, like this whole application, it's not one where, you know, oh, I just encountered an error, time to bail out, right? Time to print something and bail out. No, you collect those errors because you want to collect as many as you can to report all of them all at once to the user, right? You want to collect all URL collisions. You want to collect all markdown parsing errors. So, that's why this strategy is great. So far, loving this. Hello, JJRDev. So, can you show again the no return function? Sure. It works like this. So baseline, so this is a file called fatal.zig that I made myself. I have this basic message thing. Message is no return. So what message does is, in debug mode, it calls panic with the arguments. So it's like it's a print function. So you pass to it like a string literal with format specifiers and then a tuple of arguments. So in debug mode, it just panics with that message and it prints you the stack trace. That's what I want. Then alternatively, in otherwise, in non-debug mode, instead it prints the error message and then it kills the process. It calls process.exit. So it does not print the stack trace, because in a release build, like, you don't want to spam to your users the entire stack trace. To them, that shouldn't be important. So what do I use this for? For example, when encountering an error while opening a directory. So let's say that you have a directory that for some reason you don't have read access to, or like you can't open. So If that happens, that's a hard error. That's not the kind of error where you want to collect it and then trying to do other stuff. I consider an error accessing a directory to be an unrecoverable error. So in that case, I will bail out right away. And so in places where I'm trying to open a directory, what I do is that I catch the error and I call fatal.dir. I'll show you in a moment where I use this. And basically what I do is I use MSG in turn. Basically, I haven't tested this yet. I should try to test this and to see if this gives me also the error trace. It probably does not give me the error trace, but I would like also to make sure that this also prints, like this mechanism in debug mode prints also the error trace. So where do I use that dir stuff as an example? In variant, when I scan directories, I like recursively keep looking into directories. So I have like, I open a base directory and then I have a stack of directories that I recurse into. And so as I grab the next directory, this next also opens the directory because I'm using a directory iterator. And so this could return a directory opening error, which I catch, and then I fatal dir the error. How do functions propagate their set of possible errors across an ABI boundary? They don't. You cannot. Zig doesn't have an ABI, a stable ABI that you can use across like computation units. So if you want to do ABI stuff, you have to downgrade to the C ABI. So you map Zig errors to integers in C, and hopefully whoever is on the other side. Well, let's say that you have Zig on both sides. What about auto reloading? I don't know about that stuff. Auto reloading is not going to be done across. It's not going to be something that is going to be implemented on top of like the C ABI in any way. So it's not going to be like a DLL that you hot reload. It's going to be a different mechanism where your executable gets patched. Okay, so what's the next programming error that we have? Except that U32 found U size 167. Okay, so we're making progress. That's good. 167. So PDX is U size. And yeah, we're just gonna int cast. That's fine. Hey, not Walker. I saw your blog post. Nice. Yeah. Wow, we have another one. Or is this the same from before? Oh yeah, I found another location where this happens. We need to do it in a few different places, I guess. Okay, next problem. Memory function expected to arguments found one. Collisions.append. Does it need an allocator? It doesn't need an allocator. Poor guy. Let's do GPA. So that needs to be GPA. Next problem. No memory name output in consuate. 185. Yeah, this is for alias. So I forgot to update this thing. So yeah, like this. Okay. Got to go to my J job. Quitting in June? Holy shit. Well, I don't know if that's good news. You know what? From the perspective of change being hopefully eventually good, I'll take it as a good news. So have a nice day. And enjoy the last few months at your job. It is good? Yeah, I assume so. Nice. By the way, are you coming to Systems Distributed? consider doing it because there's not going to be probably a software you can love this year. So if you can budget one trip to Europe a year, I would say it's a good investment to spend it on systems distributed. Otherwise, if that means that next year you're not going to feel like coming to Europe, then don't do it and wait for next software you can love. Yeah, it doesn't really exist. I would say, honestly, that nowadays, after Handmade imploded, pretty much his system is distributed unless Abner makes another Handmade conference. So far, the only things that I know about is Handmade and Handmade Seattle and systems distributed. I don't know about anything else. What's the preferred way of doing plugin like stuff in Zig? Like if DLLs aren't supported? What do you mean? DLLs are supported. You use the CABI. Are you going to system distributed? What do you mean I'm going? Yes, I'm going. Look. Look at this guy. That's me. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna speak. I think I'm gonna talk about my book. Oh, that was a joke. Sorry. You know that people ask me those questions all the time, and they miss things. So it's hard for me to know when somebody's joking. My apologies. It's clearly somebody else. Yes. Okay. So the idea is that if you want to do plugin like, you use DLLs, you cannot use Zig errors at the ABI boundary, but Zig errors are enums, so you just turn them into integers because that's what they were all along, and you pass the error code that way. So there's some annoying, I guess, mapping that you have to do at the ABI boundary, but that's pretty much it. Then it works. But hard code reload is not going to be based on that. Or rather, if you want to do hard code reload using DLLs, you can already do that today. You don't need anything special from the compiler. Will that be done automatically if you explicitly list all the error cases? I don't know exactly what the use case that you have in mind is. So it's a number. So you pass around the number, and you could even have a function that takes the number, turns it back into an error set, and prints the error name if you want to. So the mapping, the mapping may be annoying, but it's not strictly about errors. It's about other stuff. Yeah. Okay. So I guess what we're being left undefined is, what is the language that exists at the other side of the boundary? If it's Zig, then what you can do is just literally do error from int, like at error from int. And you're good. Although this works for error sets, you can't do that. I think that you can if you have a well-defined error set. So if you have, for example, const if you have these, error codes are not persistent across compiles. So you can't. So you're saying that you can't even do this if this is known? Yeah, because it's a global numbering. Then I guess the solution that you have is to have the main application give you an extern function that you can call, that you can do print error on. I don't know. I guess it depends on the specifics of what you're trying to achieve. Maybe there will be some other things that currently you don't have that will be introduced to Zig to support this use case. Yeah, but I think it really depends on exactly what's going on. Like, whose error set is that? Why are you switching on? Why are you trying to print it? Like, is this just diagnostics for the users? Is it something else? What's going on? That's also the kind of stuff to think about. Error, no field member function intern path with name in path table. Yeah, I think I commented that one out, right? Let's see, intern path with name. Path table, intern path with name. I commented it out. I don't remember why I decided it was a good idea to comment it out. I think at some point I wasn't sure if I was gonna need it, so I commented it out, but now I definitely need it. So let's see. Component count. And then we return these two bad boys. Okay, next problem. Accepted type info, blah, 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 error unions of struct. Oh, there's an if return case. Oh yeah, this is the case where you actually did find it. So you return this, comma, name. $208. Where are we now? In main. Not found existing. What are we talking about? Oh, we're missing a try. That's another location where we're missing a try. 213. No field name variant in collision. Yes, correct. Unused capture. Nice. Uh, 246. I think it's gonna be the same problem. This is oh, is it here? Oh, let's go. We're getting down to the silly errors. Expected string table found const string table. No, we totally want a const one. Accepted type const pages found array list. Pages or items. No field or member function format in standalone variant location hint from formatter. What? No function name format in standalone variant location hint formatter. Variant location hint formatter pub function format. Oh. Whoops. Next problem. Expected mutable string table. Oh, this guy has the same problem. Oh, field name IDX instruct location int. Oh, because it's called just ID. We built. Imagine something like an ECS game engine where you have plugins for systems that provide an update function that could return all sorts of errors. If they can all just be handled by printing, then that's simple enough. But maybe some cases like lost connection to server, we need special handling. Yeah, you will need to write some boilerplate around that. Like maybe a function that turns a Zig error into a C enum or something like that. I don't know. You can make it work. Now, am I saying that this is optimal? Probably not. Probably, if you want to actually do it for real, you will appreciate having some kind of like well-designed automatism around it. But in general, does that need to be like a language feature? I'm not sure. Maybe it's just a matter of having like a good library that offers this functionality for you, to you. Okay, we built, we literally built Zine. So I guess we want to try it now. Also, we're tripping an assertion. Index.html is not index. It's not an index 1. Oh, I'm dumb. Index.html is actually an index 2. It's SMD that it's at index 1. Good thing that I put assertions in there, huh? Where are we? 148. Wait, no, this is true. What's going on? Do you have a theoretical date for the next Zine release? Good question. I probably should make a release of the current version, the non-standalone version, because there's more stuff that I haven't that I haven't mastered, that I haven't released yet. But then I think that should be like the last non-standalone release, and then after that I want to, unless there's like bug fixing, because I'm horribly breaking somebody's stuff, I want to focus entirely on the standalone version and not develop that one anymore. Okay, so what's going on here? That's index 0. That should be index 1. That should be index 2. String table, intern, index HTML. Also, the SMD one doesn't trip. It's the HTML one that does trip. What? What? Also, why does it trip? You know what? LDB. I want to see what's that value. The way I phrase the assertion doesn't allow me to see what's the other thing. God damn it. As I wrap up the Zig book, my plan is to rebuild my website using Zine. Nice. I mean, just so that you're aware, you don't have to do much Zig to use Zine. Like Zine is a static site generator, and by itself, it doesn't really make you write Zig code except in the build script. But if you have a simple website, you basically just copy paste a bit of boilerplate and you're done. and especially going forward, that part is also going to become completely optional. So you will still be able to use Zin from the Zig build system if you want to, but you won't have to anymore. So you know what? Follow whatever schedule you want to follow. Just letting you know that it's not really a hard requirement to know Zig. I'm honestly surprised by but what's going on here. Guess I'm gonna rebuild everything and see what happens. Still gonna run it in LDB. $11. I'm an idiot. Of course it's 11. Obviously it's 11. Yeah, it's the char offset, of course. It's in the string table. So so what am I doing? Undo things. Okay, main. Do. Which one is more important? I think they're both pretty important. In any case, I'm gonna. Oh, really? I even only use it there. That's interesting. Oh no, I indeed changes that I shouldn't have undone. Please tell me I didn't undo a ton of things. Okay. Okay, it works. There's a bunch of spam from Scripty, and we have content parsing errors. Hello, Phil Massicoat. Okay. So, what do we want to do next? I would say we want to take out a couple new lines from here, and now I think we want to have a snapshot test directory where I want to stress all these error reporting. So I want it to be entirely a long list of content collision errors. So let's go do that. So take this out. One new line is fine. One new line is fine. Yeah. I wonder who puts what. So this prints itself with a new line at the top. That is certainly a choice. It's also missing one last caret. You see that it stops one too early. That's also another thing that we need to fix. Okay. So next, what we want to do, yeah, let's do the directory stuff. So content scanning. We're going to change simple into, we're going to copy simple into collisions, I guess. Okay, let's trigger collisions. So we probably, you know what? Let's simplify also this website because it does not need to be this complicated. Okay, index.smd has aliases. And it wants to be put in foobar buzz.html, foobar box. You know what? Let's just do foobar.html. And then it wants to be put in readme.html. I guess we can make the first two a collision. You know what? Let's make everything a collision except the last one. So we go into page. So that's one. You also have content errors. No content, doesn't matter. URL collisions. Okay, we're printing. Why are we printing this line? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see how these messages look like. So there's debugging information. That's annoying. But let's see. URL collisions. Foobar buzz HTML error. Output URL collision detected between index.smd. Where's my space? Page alias. And page SMD page alias. Foobar HTML and README. You know, also what I want to add self. I want to test also for self collisions. So this silly index also wants to be put as index.html. What a silly page. And yeah, now you can see it collide with itself. We're missing a space in pretty much all of them except this one. The heck. Variant. Okay, there we go. So now this is better. I'm kind of tempted to put like a tab in there just to align things. But I won't be able to align things nicely either way, so it's fine. Okay, so this is nice. Let's add more cases. There's another case. There is another case where, let me see. It works like this. Bosses said no when I asked if we could go to SD25 RIP. So I create a directory called page, and in there I put an index.smd. This page has no aliases. Sorry. Let me do this. Let's make this page as HTML. Page also for this guy. Why are we printing that thing unconditionally? I forgot to put there an if. This is bad. What is going on? Why are we not even erroring out at all anymore? What is going on? Oh. No, actually, no. What is going on, man? Oh, because I'm in content. I'm such a moron. No, that actually doesn't explain at all what's going on because in theory, this should also run correctly inside of here. So this is a different bug, basically. I'm experiencing another bug. Okay, let's move foo back to page. I don't see it reported. Hello, Joban. Hello, everybody. Hello, X2. So what is going on? Let's see. We're reporting correctly this error. Like these these 4 errors are all correct. Index with itself, and then 3 cases of index with page. But we're missing page index because that should collide with page.smd. How come it doesn't? I know why. I know why. I know why. Okay. Whew. I know why. So when we intern these files, they also have the extension. So when we intern them as paths, we need to take out the file extension. So if it's an index.smd, we intern it like this, but otherwise it's not name. Otherwise it's different. Otherwise it has to be const extensionless name is stdfs path stem of v.string table, no, of name.slice I mean, I might as well just plug that in there at this point. Except for table string found constitute. Oh snap. Never mind. We need to intern it. Yeah. There we go. Now there's another one. We have it. Page index HTML error output collision detected between page SMD and page index SMD. Okay. So with this, we have URL collision support, and we have implemented it well. One trick that we could make use of is intern SMD names without the .smd extension. That would be a very evil trick, which I'm actually really tempted to do. So we don't put the file extension name. We know when something is an SMD file, so we could do that. That would be funny. But for now, it's fine. Okay, so let's make this output nicer. We make this output nicer by... how do we make this output nicer? So we make this output nicer. By printing to standard out instead of standard error. Where do we do the standard out printing? We never do it. What? We really never print this stuff to standard out? Oh, here we were doing standard out. Okay, I think that, I guess in run, we should also grab a handle to standard out while we're initializing stuff. And maybe buffer it. Actually, who cares about closing standard out? Okay, so that means that our printing goes to out instead of debug printing. This one is fine. Okay, so that means that in show 3, we also need to open standard out. You know what? Let's put this stuff here. Its own separate thing. Oh, show 3 has its own thing. Where's the problem? In print super MD errors. Oh, then you pass it in. And now we have all these other errors. No space left, disk quota, file too big, input output, device busy, invalid argument, access denied, broken pipe, system resources, operation aborted. Also, we need to flush. So, how do we do this? Hey, take my prime? Well, if you want to give it to me, sure, thank you. Looking forward to Zig 1.0. It will take a while. Well, thank you for the prime sub. It will take a while for Zig 1.0, but we're gonna get there. We're definitely gonna get there. So inside of run, why is this kind of acting as if, oh, it's because my cursor goes up. That's why it hides it. Okay. What is the stuff that I have down here? Pool, spawn, working group. Wait for parsing to be complete. Compute indices. I think this stuff I already have, and it's just much better right now. So we try to flash our output buffer, I guess. I don't love this. So the problem is that this has some bad interactions with my thing at the top, because the thing at the top can only once out of memory. And I would have to pollute it with a ton of other errors, which I could put there. But now it's going to be easier for some error to sneak in, and I don't like this. So I'm thinking of something that does fatal print, something like some kind of function that does printing, but also implicitly does fatal on a print error. So I guess I can do. I don't want to do fatal print though, because that will sound like it's a print and then we exit. So I need to. I guess the abstraction will have to be to live in here. Do you have a preferred way to handle command line arguments in Zig? I did not see if you use something like Zig clap or SED in Zine. In Zine, so Zine is a bit of a peculiar project because right now it doesn't have a standalone executable, so I don't have CLIs because it's just like a script that you invoke inside of the Zig build system. But I am making right now the CLI like an actual standalone executable. I just don't have a particularly complicated CLI. So for now, here's what I have. I do this, and I don't use clap. Like I've used clap in the past. It's clever. It's cool. If you like that approach, go for it. But it has broken on me because of Zig updates enough times, and every time it breaks, I can't fix it because it's like a spaghetti ball of metaprogramming. So here's what I do now. So for my sub command, I do string to enum of the sub command argument, and I map it to an enum. So I have an enum that defines what my commands are. And then I dispatch on that. And then if the sub command has its own arguments, I pass down the sub slice of everything else that's in there. And then I do some parsing. If you want an example of where I do this parsing in a more serious fashion, take a look at what I do here. Okay, so here I have the same basic approach, right? I have a command enum, I do string to enum, and then I dispatch on it. But then the next step is what the individual subcommand does. So let's take a look at what I have inside the, for example, FMT thing. So in FMT, maybe this one is a bit weird. Let me think. Actually, maybe it's not. Okay, here I have the run function that gets the subcommand slice, and then I do command is command.parse. So every one of these guys, like fmt.zig, every subcommand defines its own command type. So this command is not the same command that you saw in main. The one in main is an enum. This one is a struct. So if you scroll down, you do somewhere. I think I always move this stuff at the bottom. So here you see that command, it's a struct and contains all the flags that I care about, or well, all the settings that I care about for this subcommand. And then I have a parse function. And parse literally has every field in here becomes a variable in here. Sometimes you want to be more nuanced and you want to make the node becomes an optional node. Sometimes you could have even booleans that you want to be optional booleans so that you can distinguish between boolean present set to true, boolean present set to false, and boolean missing. Like it's an optional flag. So you understand maybe that you could short circuit it and say, which is what I do here. If this is like this can only be overridden by saying yes, also do check. But in other cases, having the extra optionalness layer is actually good. Then obviously at the end of parse, you will have to decide what the default value is. But that way you can have like more nuanced behavior depending on which flags are defined or not defined. And then I literally scan all arguments, and then I have a bunch of mem.equal. Then I apply a bunch of side effects to those variables. And then at the end, here is where the optional mode has to choose what it needs to be, which in this case means that mode was mandatory. So you had to specify mode. That's why it was optional. And so if it's missing, I complain that it's missing. There's a missing argument, and I print the help menu, and I call it a day. And then I do the mapping. There's also other cases where I do more fancy stuff than this. So Super HTML is one example. I think Ziggy might be another example where this happens. I have the same exact setup, by the way, for Ziggy. Let's take a look at Ziggy FNT. Is it any more complicated? Command. By the way, you can see that it's the same structure, right? So I have a command, I have my fields here, I initialize them locally, and then I parse. Yeah, but it's mostly straightforward. And this is the help menu. In any case, that's the setup that I have. I would say that this is worth it because you are in full control. Like it's tedious, it's boring boilerplate work that you have to do. But the good news is that you have to do it once per project. So if your project is like, not a one-off thing that you don't really care too much about, but instead it's something that you are gonna work on for longer, that you want to really polish, then I would say that's not a bad way of going at it. Yeah. And I think there's some behavior that you just cannot encode as nicely if you use a third-party library. Everything in this so far was very simple. Nice. The pattern, though, of map a subcommand to an enum and then pass down the subslice and then have another subcommand type defined per subcommand, and then it has a parse function, and you have the, every field becomes a variable inside of parse, which you fill out. I really like that pattern. Like I don't think I will ever move away from it. It's just, basic and working well. Okay, what was I doing? Right, we have the printing problem now. We have the printing problem. So here's how I think I'm gonna do it. Also, print version and print help should be at the very bottom, I think. And this print helper should also be down here. So function print log print log. I don't know. Well, com time fnt consuate args any type wait, I want to say no return void. I guess we can do out any type. So we can also accept a writer. First argument, last argument, first argument. So we literally do out dot print fnt args catch error, and then we can do fatal print, fatal out, fatal message. I think it's fine. Like this. I forgot to take out tries. Oh, and now the final thing that has a problem is the flush. It's unfortunate because this has, it would be nice if we could share the same code with this. But I'm just gonna copy paste. There we go. So this is our standard output. Nice. So let's now have this stuff. Also, we want error exit code, I think, at this point. So if we get here and there are parsing errors and there are collisions, we want to report both of them. But then we want to exit if there's any error. So if content parse errors, or hey Danik, is pattern matching planned to be implemented into Zig? I don't think so. Or is it already the case? Nope. I remember the switch accepts any comp time expression as a branch. Yes, and structs have structural comparison built in, if I recall correctly. No, structs do not have. There was some form of structural equivalence between structs. Well, struct literals, some special untyped struct literals, but that has entirely taken away from the language. So no, like any kind, like no more structural comparisons. Packet structs do. I guess. So I would say in general, no. That way of doing pattern matching is not really a thing in Zig. Sorry. so content parse errors and collision. Not to fatal. I mean, we want to just to print out. Errors detected. You know what? Don't even say anything. Just do std process.exit 1. That's it. Okay, so we do exit 1. So now we should see, yeah, the thing turns red. So now we successfully fail on this type of errors. So what do we do now? We want testing. What do we have for testing now? Does it even work? Test rendering simple. Oh yeah, these things have to be taken out. Okay, time to update our testing infrastructure. Yeah, as you can see, I'm like commenting out a bunch of stuff because we're simplifying a ton of things. Set up snapshot testing. Okay, so how does snapshot testing work now? Build test websites under tests. Build stuff under tests. Build snapshot tests under. Well, build snapshot tests and diff results. Yeah. Okay, so last thing that we want to do is diff. That depends on test type depends on this. Then we do git add. Then we do set name. Yes. This also depends on other stuff. Well, diff depends on git add. Then content scanning and then rendering tests. So I think I'm gonna just take out rendering tests entirely for now. And then say, let's see, content scanning for directory in there. If it's not a hidden directory, that's the path, z, compare with snapshot.txt. That's it. Yes. So I can do the wheel test. I think this is still gonna fail. Unused function parameter scopes. Okay. Okay, so this is gonna show me. Right, this is gonna show me the section. So here's what I think. I think that what we did just now should be the result of calling section of calling tree. Zine 3. Yeah. So here's what I'm gonna do. The logic, I'm gonna go in main. I want to have Zine 3 to be the command that you invoke in snapshot tests, and then it will correctly error out basically. Although it's also maybe not a bad idea to have like success and error stuff. So maybe there should be like a directory called collision, and then that's collision stuff, and then you have content scanning, and then that one wants 3, because we need to account for the fact that we are expecting a given exit code. It's unfortunate that we can't snapshot the exit code, because if we could snapshot the exit code, that would actually be awesome. If we could snapshot the exit code, that would really make things much easier for us. Much, much, much easier. Much, 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 much easier. Maybe I should make a tool for this that basically puts also the exit code in the snapshot. Hmm. Yeah, I think I need to make that. So I need to create a program. So unfortunately, the Zig build system doesn't allow me to. It doesn't allow me to consider a non-zero exit code a success. I could do expect a non-zero exit code, but then it would be an error to obtain a zero exit code. So we just cannot like ignore it in a sense. That's what I want to do right now. Kind of ignore it. So we need to make our own program that does that. We need like camera in a sense. We need a thing called camera. I guess I'm going to put that in the build directory. Let's put it that way. Why not have an option that will not produce error codes in some cases? And I don't want to pollute my program with extra stuff just for use of the build system. I could do that. It's just that it would make the code more complicated. And it's like, it's not really a concern of the builds of the static site generator itself. It's just a concern in my testing stuff. Does the compiler require some changes to LVM, or does it support building with non-bundled LVM? Zig itself, as in source form, does not bundle LVM. You are supposed to get it yourself from the official LVM repository and build it yourself. So yeah, no, you do not need a special LVM. The official Zig repository has a wiki page where it's explained how to download and build LVM and how to then after that build Zig. You can also get a pre-built version of LVM from your distro, but be careful because it usually that's fine, but sometimes there's something weird that distros do to LVM, and then you get C++ build errors, and then you don't know what to do at that point because it's a mess. So I would say try it out, and then if you can't make it work, then at some point you will probably have to build LVM yourself. Or, if you don't want to risk it, just go straight for LVM, build it yourself, and find a way of wasting 40 minutes or something along those lines. And then at that point, it takes that long to build LVM. It's annoying. So also to answer XLayer, your question also in a different way, I'm kind of hopeful that the Zig build system will eventually also start supporting these use cases because I think it's reasonable enough. So I basically am hoping that I write this and then eventually I just delete it and switch to using the right APIs in the Zig build system. That's it. What's the name of the new allocator? SMP. Now, how do we sub-process? Process child. Run allow fail. Run allow fail. That sounds about right, doesn't it? No, that's in build though. Wait, how did I land in build? Oh yeah, it go to references, finds way more references than it used to. Can I go to like local references? Is that like references but in this file? Not really, huh? So child init. First argument in argv is the executable. That creates a child process. Set username, spawn, and wait. Kill Windows, kill POSIX, wait for spawn, wait, run result, write FIFO data to array list, collect output. Collect the output from the processes SDR. This will return once all output has been collected. It does not mean that the process has ended, which should still be called to wait and to clean up the process. Okay, so something like this. Init argv is going to be args 1 GPA then we do try cmd dot collect output. Process must be started with stdl behavior and stdr behavior equals dot pipe. What other behaviors could you specify? Inherit pass. Oh, technically we could pass. We could pass the output and then print some more. So instead of buffering locally, we just do inherit and then we print at the end, because otherwise we have to buffer. So that means that the status code goes at the end instead of the beginning. That's actually fair. I don't see why not. Although it does have the problem of creating an annoying status file. Maybe we could create a separate file, like you before, like the only argument before the command invocation is an output file where to write this exit status code. So we create like status exit status.txt and we write it there. That's actually not a bad idea. That might be not a bad idea. That might be not a bad idea. That said, you know what? It's also very nice to be able to do. So it's not pipe, it's inherit. We don't collect anything. Okay, it's inherit by default. Perfect. So we just spawn and wait. What's your problem? Why does go to definition not work? Why is this returning? This returns a child process. Oh. Well, that's so this is called child process, but the file is called child. God damn it, Zig. Okay, so that's fine. So spawn and wait should work. But where is the status code? So where's the status? Where's the exit code? To do ID, thread handle, allocator, std in, std out, stdr, term, argv, env map, expand, disable, start suspended, resource, progress node. Where is my exit code? Wait, is that a return value of wait? Please tell me the wait returns that. Spawn and wait returns term. Exited signal stopped unknown. Okay. I don't know about signal and stopped and unknown. What's up with that? You know what? I'll consider those failures, I guess. Well, it's basically exited or I don't know. Also, it's still uppercase. Uppercase enum numbers. Sorry, enum cases. Disgusting. So we said we print it at the end, right? So let's go do that. How do we print this stuff at the end? We do try std io.get std out dot writer. Well, we can do write all directly. So get std out. Write all. Can we write all? Oh, it's the code. So no, we can't write all. We have to print. So writer print. It's not gonna be super fast because it's not buffered, but shouldn't be too bad though. 2 syscalls instead of 1, I guess. So that is gonna be new line, exit code, something like this. I don't know. I'm gonna stuff all of term in there, and like that's the best we can do, I guess. Yeah. So this is it. Camera.zig. Camera.zig. Okay, let's see how this goes then. So in tools, snapshot testing, we define a test step. I guess we need to run camera. So const camera. Gonna steal this stuff. Optimize is always gonna be release fast. Camera. Target. I guess we need target. Oh, scopes are for the Zine invocation. I see. You know what? Let's take them out for now. So camera. It's an executable rooted in build/camera. Then we do add system command, content scanning. Okay, so we have this whole content scanning thing. Modern content scanning should be called, I don't know, based on some commands, whatever. Content scanning, grab a directory. So we're calling run artifact. Now this is going to be different, or rather, this is run artifact of camera. So we run the camera with add arg run camera dot add artifact arg. That's not a thing. It is a thing. Okay, never mind. Wait, run camera. What am I talking about? Zine.exe. So we pass Zine.exe. The subcommand is 3. We capture the std out. Update the snap. Okay, let's see how this works. Well, I need to do a Zig build test. Hello, Choas father. I'm doing fine, thank you. Let's see, expected type. Oh, yeah, and I obviously need to update the call site. Choas father. Expected STD mem allocator found type. I mean, that's true. How am I supposed to use this? I'm forgetting. .global. Why am I doing .global then? Wait, I'm doing something dumb. Yeah, I'm doing something dumb. There we go. Next problem. Unexpected error union type. Oh, expected error union type found this. Sure. Expected pointer to process child found const. God damn it. There we go. So now this has a line where it says execute 0. Perfect. So this snapshot test now reports the error code. Where's the rest of the stuff though? Right, there's a bunch of new source files that need to be added. Okay, wait a second. So there's a new markdown file. Yes, there's another markdown file. There's another markdown file. This is all fine. This layout needs to go. That's too much. This layout also needs to go. layouts index.html, that is fine. Am I waiting? Yeah, I'm spawn and wait. I'm doing spawn and wait. And then I'm printing to standard out. What's going on here? Section HTML. And then snapshot txt. Right. I'm invoking still the other command. Of course, I'm still invoking the other command. And so this gets repeated twice. Obviously. Okay. So now I go into main. And here's what we do. Before calling show 3. So like show 3 is basically not doing error reporting. It's annoying. How do we do this? How do we deal with the fact that show 3 is annoying? I guess I could pull show 3 into the main subcommand and then just basically add if show 3, go do the thing that shows a 3 and then exit, for example. That is indeed a solution. How do we do this? So we need to do the initial normal load stuff. And then variant sections, items, content subpath, print out. So we're literally just printing. Yeah, we're just printing basically the content of variants after we do variant scan. Okay, let's assume that this happens elsewhere. So take all this all out. Assume that variant is given to you. Assume that it's plural. Add an outer loop. Print a header whenever there's a variant, basically. Let's see how this looks like. So this should do content dir path. Let's say that you're also being given out. And then variant dot. Does it actually have that? Of course it does not. Why would it? What's in a variant? It has content dir. It just does not have content dir path. God damn it. Of course. Well, I guess because it's not invariant, it's inside build Right, it depends on the build. So that's annoying. Okay, no contender path, only index for now. Okay, so this prints the variant. We should print also the root page, root index, if it has one. I'm surprised that I thought I was printing this information, but root index is going to be variant dot root index. That's an optional. So we can do or else. Or else what actually? So we could say 0, but no, that 0 is an actual value. Can we do -1? Will this work? Let's see if this works. We still need an arena. No flashing needed anymore. So this is now show 3. Okay. Yeah, fuck it. I'll leave it as it was before. Okay, so section. Then next thing is what? Next thing is that we need to invoke it correctly. So instead of doing that from here, we do it also for 3. So we do the same work, and then here we call show 3 at some point. So we surpass all these parts with error reporting. Then we do if the command is 3, show 3, and then process exit 0. What do we give it? Arena, out, variance. And then we need to flush. That's annoying that we need to flush again. Okay. That makes sense to me. There are some things that we're missing though, because I do try arena stuff. So I append stuff to an arena and I try, but we don't but it's fine because we can here. So okay, let's see how we're doing in terms of building. Type your TTQ cannot represent integer value -1. Yeah. You know what? Let's do it like this. Probably with the span slice. Right. So this means that now show 3 can return an error. Error union is ignored, right? We need to try it. Okay. And so with this, we can do now Zig build test. Let's remove some extra files that are annoying. We don't need any of these guys because we're not even validating them for now. So we're gonna put them back once we need them for real. Let's see what happens now. So simple snapshot now shows content parse errors. So I think this is correct. Like, because we have content parse errors in there, but we want to take them out, I guess, because that's not their role. The content directory shouldn't do that. So, what is it? Simple should be correct stuff. I was just testing. So take this out. Fix this. Everything else should be fine. Zig build test. Oh, we still have IDX. And expected one string argument. So I didn't fully fix it. Whoops. That's sectional SMD. Oh, I guess it's collisions. I've inherited maybe some bad things. No, I haven't. Wait, what's going on? What are you smoking? Content scanning simple. What? Index SMD. There has to be another index. Is it you? No. Is it you? No. Not you. Oh, I think I know what's wrong. What is wrong is that now that this thing accepts hey Rocco Rager. So run artifact camera, add artifact arg, add argument 3, set CWD path. See the solver bug. Add step dependencies. Yeah. Add path there. Get env map. Has term check. Step RV, CWD env map, disable zig progress, std in, file inputs, rename, skip checks. Has side effects. Okay, let's see how this goes. Because I think it wasn't being run again. Well, it needs to be rerun again. There we go. Okay, so now it says variant, ID 0, index 0, root index 0. Then section, index 1, section path. Nothing. I can put a slash in there, I guess. The indices are different. Why? Because we don't print section 0. And there's the exit code. Okay, so this is it. Here's the other one. This is the new guy. Prints all the URL cohesions, prints the exit code being 1, which is what we expect. So this is a good snapshot test as is. I'm happy with this. We're getting a ton of debug spam, but it's fine for now. So I am gonna git status and just add this new stuff in tests. Now my test should succeed. Ignore the spam. So now the test succeeds. That's not bad. So we have implemented collision detection for content files, and we have a test where we stress some of these cases. Maybe we should make the test more comprehensive. So I don't know, we could try more stuff. That might be not a bad idea, honestly. Let's add another one case that I can think of right away. So collisions, content, how does it work? Why is there layouts in here? What? Content in here? How did I do this? Anyway, so we have page SMD. We can do nested. Oh, there's definitely more than that. Now that I think about it, we are not testing alternatives. We're only testing aliases. So we need to test also alternatives. Okay. So there's this file. This file doesn't do anything interesting. This file does not do anything interesting. But what we care about is another file wanting to be there. So let's go in page SMD and let's have page also want to collide with that one. What was it? Nested path page. Let's give a leading slash to all these guys. Oh, actually, they should have a leading thing. Actually, well, no, they don't have to. So we could have some of them have them, but they don't need to have them. Nested page needs to have them. Okay. So let's give them to nested page. Right. These paths are actually relative to where this guy is. So they should not collide. And I think we are not implementing this properly currently. So we need to do that. Oh boy, do we need to do that. None of these aliases should collide because they're all relative. Like this. Okay, let's see what happens. So another index has a collision between index SMD and page. Is this correct? This is correct. This guy should collide. And then we have these other ones. So this is a collision. These are all collisions with page. They're wrong. These are not collisions because they're all relative. And yeah. So we need also a function to extend a path with another path. Huh. Yeah, we need to fix the semantics of aliases because they should be relative if they don't have a leading slash. Okay, so we implement this now, and then that should help us fix our snapshot tests. Man, good thing that I'm implementing testing. Otherwise, good luck like codifying all this behavior and not, um, yeah, not having regressions. Okay, yeah, let's do that. So basically, in theory, we should have only added one. Actually, no, we should have added two. There should be one where somebody else. Wait, did I not save that? Oh, I never added it. I want page also to collide. Wait a second, page is colliding. Oh, but in the wrong way. There you go. Now it is colliding. Yeah. Okay, so that one is one that I want to keep. Which is this one. So this one I want to keep. This one is correct. These four need to go. Okay. Nunchi. I want to learn Zig, but I'm curious if there are a lot of job postings requiring Zig. No, there are not a lot of job postings requiring Zig. There are some. There are a few, not many. And it tends to be workplaces that are like really into bleeding edge stuff. So you will find that most workplaces, they don't have an interest in adopting super bleeding edge technology because most of the time they're doing something where it's not like necessarily that they're doing boring stuff, but you know, messing around with new tech most of the time is not worth it for a company. So there's only a few companies where the advantage that they get from Zig is worth the fact that Zig is not yet a stable language. Okay, let's go main. So what is the problem here? The problem is that when we are interning these paths, yeah, when we are interning alias paths, we're not like trying to resolve it against we're not trying to resolve it against the base thing. So how do we do this? Well, the idea is we do intern path with name. Yes, that's cool, I guess. But actually, we also need to add like an extra like prefix path. We need to add a extra prefix path, kind of necessarily, which is SMD path slice. So SMD path slice is going to be page scan path. Is it actually going to be it? It is not. Oh. That's not it. We need to break from. Oh man, const SMD out there path. And that is URL basically. Right? No, it's the path component of URL, which might be what it was originally or what we did here. So URL.path. And now we can use this in aliases. Right, how do we use this in aliases then? We pass it here. So we say, yeah, that's the string table, but you know also what? We have also a prefix path, SMD their path. Is it? What was it? SMD out their path. That's how we pass it down. Now, This might be the wrong place to do it because this is probably something that we want to do as we're loading the page itself, I think. Maybe. No, we can't. It has to happen when we are parsing it. And I don't think we have parsed it yet as we're doing this. No, never mind. We have already parsed. Yeah, of course. Otherwise, we wouldn't know all this extra stuff. In any case, not sure if this is the right place, but it doesn't matter because this function would need to support this anyway. Was the Zig website made with Zine? Yes, all my websites are made with Zine except Zig.show because I haven't ported it yet. Okay, so aliases and alternatives are doing the same. Can Zig download latest master now, or does it have problems like ZVM? No, it can. If you do ZigUp, I did it actually myself earlier today. If you do ZigUp fetch master, you get 014 because that's the most recent build. I think you can even do Zig fetch 014, but I haven't done that. I only did the other one, but yeah. So, okay, what's the problem now? Redefinition of label BLK. Well, goddamn it. Path table, the path does not support field access. Oh, right. So I'm a dum. This is not path. This has to be a slice of string. Right. So we can't do this. We have to do this dot slice. I don't want to do dot slice multiple times, so I'm going to do dot slice here. Hopefully we don't need that ID. Expected string table string found const. Sure. Cannot main copy to constant pointer. Who said that this is a constant pointer? PT is not const. Oh wait, is it destination source? God damn it. There we go. Okay, time to see if now our tests have been fixed. Do we poop ourselves? So result is that these are not errors anymore. Wait a second. Index SMD, page SMD. That is true. Actually, that is true. Page, if Page says that he wants to become also a README without a starting slash, then it won't collide anymore. So I want to restate this error. I don't know which page SMD is that one. Okay, that's the base one. So yes. So these have all to be like this if we want to collide. Why is this README still going away, man? What is going on here? Let's see, with a change in the hash for dependencies, do we need to delete all packages from cache Zig, or does Zig clean it automatically? Zig will not clean it automatically. If you might still have dependencies that are using the old hash system, which is still supported by Zig, but it's not a bad idea to clean that directory from time to time. I think eventually Zig will introduce some kind of like garbage collection system, but for now it doesn't have it. So do it, because otherwise your cache directory will grow indefinitely. Now, what is going on here? Why are these guys going away? I was pretty sure I changed my stuff. Oh, you know what? Yes, I'm now observing that I'm a dum-dum and I forgot to handle the other case. You don't always want to do this. If the path starts with a forward slash, then you want to keep it absolute. So how does it work? It works like this. If a at index 0 is equal to a forward slash, then you do an empty thing. Else you do the other thing. And the same is here for alt.output. Now, what should be correct now? There we go. So now with this, everything is as it was before, but now we have new, let's see. Nested path page index HTML. Page SMD wants to be there because it defines it as a page alias. And nested path page SMD wants to be there because that's its main output location. Another index HTML, both index and page want to be there as a page alias. Both want to be there as page aliases. And then nested path page index HTML is also, oh, it's colliding again. Page alias. Because nested path page SMD wants to be an index. I think I copied that. I think I copied that from index. You know what? Yeah, and I was saying none of these aliases should collide because they're all relative. Yeah, no, that's not exactly true. Because this page will collide with itself if I do that. Okay. There we go. Now we're perfect. And now this snapshot test is encoding exactly the behavior that we want. That is so beautiful. So beautiful. Oof. Zig garbage collection confirmed. Yeah, well, not for now. Although for the cache folder, it would be definitely desirable. That's for sure. Okay. So what do we want to do? Let's add more errors. So we're doing aliases. Let's do some alternatives also, so that we can also see the alternatives. Let's have this guy collide with itself a little bit. So alternatives. It's a list of stuff, right? Okay, let's see if that does it. Oh shit, we're panicking. Access of union field success while field Ziggy error is active. What am I doing wrong? Oh, it's missing layout. There we go. So nested path page readme HTML error. Output URL collision detected between nested path page and itself, page alias, and page alternative named readme. That is delightful. That's definitely delightful. Let's have this readme stuff also. So let's have another alternative. I think we were making these pages collide a lot, one page and the other. So let's do that again, I guess. Hello, Mr. Lago. So nested path page readme. That should add another collision. No, I messed up somehow. What did I mess up? Start index not good is larger than end index 1, 2, 3. That is a fact. Yes, agreed. What happened? How did we do this? And so it was this thing that caused it. So if I comment it out, what is this What is this stuff? Helix, come on. Now we're looping forever? What the heck? What did I do to get there? So I think there is I think there is a bug in how uh, weight groups are implemented on macOS. This is the second time. So you saw that forever looping. This is the second time I've experienced it. I experience it very rarely, but when I do, if you remember, I was debugging it and I was stuck in a weight that I should not have been stuck in. Okay, so this is where we were before, and this is all fine. You know what? Uh, I'll add this stuff my to my test suite. I'll commit to it. Also, these tabs. Okay, so I'm seeing the diff. Start this with VM, blah, blah, blah. So this really surprises me because what happens with the camera? So I guess I need to run this myself. Okay, let's see. Start index is larger than end index 123. Okay, so we're still like experiencing this. I don't know. LDB. Backtrace. Run. We're printing out collisions. And printing out collisions got us in a bad place. Let's see. This collision says URL is suspicious. Location kind, payload, page alternative. Oh, you know what we might be seeing? Maybe we are crashing when trying to print a like an what's it called? Like an attribute name? No, not attribute, like an alternative name. But those should be stored in GPA, so they shouldn't be in an arena or anything. What's happening? And then previous ID equals to. So this URL is out of whack. Why is this URL value completely out of whack? How did I do it? How did I mess it up this much? I'm worried that basically what I'm doing wrong is something to do with intern path, with name. I always copy URLs. I never write them down. Also, a URL is a struct. Oh no, it's a packed struct. A URL is a packed struct. So I guess we need to split it into two U32s. How do you split a value into two U32s? Oh man. Well, you know what we can do? We can add some, I guess, printing ourselves. Divided by 2 to the 32. So I think I'm just gonna print those things, I guess. So wait, now it works. You son of a bitch. So if I take out this print, then it's gonna poop itself again. Now I'm very weirded out by what I'm seeing. Also, yeah, I did put it back. What the heck? So in this case, it's showing that error. Like it's fading because of the diff, but everything else is succeeding? Really? Run camera succeeds. Now I'm confused. How did I get there? God damn it. But I don't see the collision also. Uh Oh no, you know what? Yeah, I don't have it. I took it out. Okay. So that's why we weren't seeing it. Okay, let's see if we can now cause the failure or run tests. Okay. So now in our tests, we also see a collision on README because index.smd has a page alias and index.smd has a page alternative README. Although, you know what? Wait a second. No, that's wrong because this output is well, no, wait. I forgot to update it. So there needs to be nested path page readme. Okay. Yes. So there is one collision with readme between index and nested page because this guy has an alternative readme and this guy has a page alias. And then there's one because on this same URL, the alternative readme from index is also colliding with the alternative readme from path. Okay, to make these less confusing, although I could keep it, but maybe we can make it less confusing by taking out readme from here. We already have more than enough collisions, so okay, that way we only have the collision between alternative readme of one page and alternative readme of another page. Yeah, that works for me. Okay. I'm really happy with how this is going. So we have basically nice, simple collision reporting. And now the next thing is going to be, so we have collision detection. We have parsing. Now we need to report parsing errors. Well, we already do report parsing errors, but I think we need to do some more work to make it nicer. And we need to understand what to do with front matter parsing errors. In a sense, parsing the front matter is part of parsing super markdown, and we're doing it wrong. And like, or rather, like whenever there's an error, then it becomes complicated to understand what's going on. So what do we do next? So next would be looking at the FMT. Yo, hey Giacomo, thank you for the raid. Hello. Hello raiders. Hello everybody. I hope you had a good time working on the Gleam compiler. I'm still working on my static site generator. Well, you know what? I'm working on a compiler too. It's just an HTML compiler, unfortunately. But check this out. I'm implementing output collision detection. Basically, you could have like multiple pages that try to output to different, like to the same location by mistake. And so we can detect that and report those errors. Yeah, have a good dinner. So yes, so we detect whenever different pages want to be put in the same location and we report that to the user. Next step is to report errors when parsing content files correctly. We already do some of that correctly, but it needs improvement, that's for sure. And then after that, we get to the juicy stuff because at that point, we will get into the part where we interpret those pages and we generate the output stuff. That part is going to be interesting, that's for sure. That is indeed for sure. So, what do we want to do now? What do I want to do now? Maybe look into the front matter stuff a little bit more, try to make it a little bit better. Right now, we don't even report from matter parsing errors. And that's bad because obviously that's one of the things that people are going to mess up the most. So say hi to Pepper. Hi, Sergeant Pepper. Also, you know what? I should do a stream with Abner today. You know what? I think I'll take a break. I think in 3 hours from now, more or less, I'm gonna be on Abner's stream. I'll tell him that I don't want to be online and I just want to be like in a Discord call with him on stream. So I'm gonna give him a shout out. Shout out to I think it's Abner Coimbra, his account. Let's see. Did I get it wrong? I did not get it wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna be like around 3 hours from now, more or less. I should join Abner. I think. Wait, unless he said Friday. Never mind. It's Friday. Sorry, it's not today. It's tomorrow, not today. Never mind. But I think I'm gonna stop here anyway. No co-stream. Yeah. Well, if it was today, it wasn't going to be a co-stream because I wanted to take a break now. But turns out that it's actually tomorrow. I misremembered. So I'm gonna do tomorrow. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stop now. I'm gonna take a break, maybe have some dinner, and then I'll be in Discord and I'll continue maybe some of this work in Discord probably. I have to be honest, when doing design work, being live on Twitch is a horrible idea. You don't have time to really think stuff through. It just does not work out well. But when you know what you're doing already, and it's just a matter of like making it work, doing I don't know, manual labor in a sense, then yeah, streaming is fine. So I do want to take breaks from Twitch so that I don't, I don't railroad myself into subpar designs. Okay. Thank you all for hanging out. Let me see if anybody is streaming Zig, and I will gladly raid them. But there does not seem to be anybody. Is there? Well, there's Tiger Beetle. You know what? I'll send you all to Tiger Beetle. Have fun. Be nice. Behave. Try to learn something from MatClad. I'm assuming he is the one streaming. And say hi to MatClad for me.